The work of Joseph Campbell is based on the Illuminati, and none of it is true at all. It is all a lie. Joseph Campbell is an Illuminati stooge, and the universities that he set up and helped set up, and the philosophy that that comes from people like this. One thing I was holding back for a long time, but I see that my time is short on this planet, so I must say it now, is that Carl Jung is the one who inspired Joseph Campbell, direct Illuminati connections, and he quit being a Catholic, chose Native American and Eastern philosophy. So, and he talks about the metaphysical, cosmological, sociological, and psychological functions of the myths. He talks about the evolutions of myths, the hunting and gathering, the early agrarians, and the civilizations, the medieval times, etc., etc. He has his own foundation, he has his own collection. Remember, he's somebody who worked for years and years trying to make things happen. So he's talking about the different time periods. He's talking about it in a way is he's looking at it through science, through the lens of a white eurocentric scientist who sold out to the Native American and Eastern occult. And in the end, you have the obvious symbol of the right wing up, which is the Eastern philosophy, and the left wing middle, which means they're covering the left philosophy, but they're leaning toward the Eastern philosophy, the works of Jung, Eastern Hindu thought, Native American people who come from the East. He talks about the mass of God, the powers of myths. I have some of his works, like he has books, Myths to Live, Mythic Image, Inner Research to Outer Space, different, you can just Google his name real quick. He's tons of works, tons of tapes, tons of interviews, books, DVDs. Joseph Campbell is what I call a great liar, and a lot of his work is very interesting, but almost his entire works are false. So I suggest that you do not follow the work of any white man. Any of my followers who follow the work of any psychiatrist or any white man will be demonized immediately as traitors and will be sent away to go join your shrink fucking buddies and go let them test you like rabbits, like Pfizer did in Nigeria. Let them test you like rabbits. Don't forget that mandatory sterilization was there for people with mental disorders, so some white cracker can say, hey, he's smart, he must have a mental disorder, sterilize him, there goes that smart gene. They're trying to cut off the genius and the intellect of the black man by promoting the children of slaves and letting the children of the smart genius Africans die in Africa. It's eugenics. They have a certain philosophy of how things are, and they're applying that philosophy to their instruments they use to create their new world order, a world order of the white elite, the upper middle class, the lower upper class, the upper class, and the eye that watches them all. And you find both in the left wing and the right wing. You have Bill Gates and stuff like that, Nancy Pelosi in in the left wing, and then you have Bill Gates also dabbling in the right wing. You also have all these super rich right wing conservative crackers. I'm not going to go into their fucking name because they would love for me to call them out and sue them. Just like I'm not going to talk about the schools and the colleges. Some of our biggest colleges. The only hint I can give you is some of our biggest colleges are made based on Joseph Campbell's work, and their introduction to religions is based on their psychiatric perspective. It's a perspective of shrink, basically. And they talk about world mythology. This is a man who is very out of touch, who did not study the African religions like I have, and thus has missed his mark. Joseph Campbell is a fraud. Carl Jung is a fraud. And if it was legal for me, I would have them both publicly executed for blasphemy and treason, and for dishonoring the memory of so many proud black African Egyptians who they fail to admit they exist. The main theme for their work should have been, it comes from Africa. Instead, they sold out to Native American women who are cute and Indian women are cute. Oh, he went to a trip with a bunch of beautiful women who are shrinks, a bunch of feminists who want to bring down the white Christian church because of their assault on whores and vampiresses and witches and sorcerers. Thank you.